Hello, everyone. This is week 3 of Denver Cyphers. If you've listened to the first 2 weeks, you know we've been speaking with photographers. Week 1 was Pat Moore, week 2 was Armando Gennetto, and we definitely appreciate everybody who's listened so far. This is Daniel, aka Poetic, and we're going to jump into week 3. Week 3, we are talking with people who talk about their lives and their feelings and everything that's going on via the written word. If you know what NaPoWriMo is, you might know what I'm talking about. If not, you're going to find out.
My name is Karia White. I am from Jersey. I have to rep Jersey. I am a third year at CU Boulder, and I study international affairs and French and political science and ethnic studies. And I wear a bunch of different hats. Like I do a bunch of shit.
I don't see any hats on.
Yeah, you know,
Just kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
So what? This isn't even really related to poetry, but why CU?
I'm still trying to figure that out myself. To be honest, I'm like I don't know why I came out here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It had international affairs. I actually started out as an MCDB major, which is like molecular cellular developmental biology. And then I did a complete 180. And I was actually thinking about transferring for a minute to Auburn or Alabama State. My brother talked me out of that, but I don't know. My junior year has been pretty dope. I think I'm supposed to be here, and yeah, like it's a dope poetry scene. It's a dope. I met really dope people. Yeah.
Okay, so you're from Jersey.
Hmm.
When did you start writing poetry? Was it in Jersey? Was it here?
So this surprises a lot of people. I only started writing poetry this past summer in
What?
June. Yeah. So I've been writing. I used to write like a lot of nonfiction and like fantasy stories when I was back in Jersey, but I went through like a really deep depression um, when I was in college. So I needed to find like a new avenue to kind of express myself, and like poetry really spoke to me because it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you, and you can fuck around with like forms and yeah, just like really create whatever you want it to be, and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody but you, and you know what it is. So
I love that part just because I do the same. Like, I'll write something and I'm like, I know what it's about. I don't care if any of you do.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Since this summer.
Mm-hmm. This past summer.
And since this summer, what all have you done, like, poetry wise?
Um, so I'm in a Black Femme writing group that I joined in November, and I've just been writing. Like I started an Instagram back in November. That was really nerve wracking, just putting your art out there because I write a lot by hand. But I just decided to make an Instagram, and I've just been posting, uploading, like healing through my poetry. So I write every day, and then I perform. Performing is very new to me. I can't say that I love it or hate it yet. It's still very nerve wracking every time I get up on the stage. But my dad always tells me like, "You're not nervous, you don't care." So we're still trying. Yeah, like we're still trying to get comfortable with going up on stage, but it's fun. But I do like to just write, and I keep a lot of my stories to myself too.
So what would you say has been your biggest, like, success, or what's been, like, the thing, like, one instance or one moment since writing poetry you've been like, this is, like, my crown jewel kind of thing?
Uh, I think it changes. Like every time I write something new, it's kind of like my new favorite thing that I've written. Um, every time I get into the space of my Black Femme writing group in Denver, um, just being in community and writing, I just tend to love whatever I'm working on, which I think is like. I look back and the pieces that I didn't work on probably get the most notice on Instagram. Um, and just like even when I'm performing it in the poetry, like some shit that I write, I'm like, I wrote that like in the bathroom this morning. Like, but something I've worked on for like months probably doesn't, get the same thing. But I think I have a different love for like all of my pieces. They're my favorite in different ways. So.
Gotcha. What are you, like, what is there, like, a I can never talk sometimes. Is there a trajectory for you with your poetry, like, performance wise or just writing wise, or like?
So I made the goal of this year to perform in at least 2 slams.
Okay.
And that's like a big goal for me. Um,
How's that going so
I haven't performed in any. I'm terrified. Like the the rejection scares me.
Right.
But I gotta just do it. I think that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm probably gonna perform at like the Merc Slam just to kind of get my feet wet, and then eventually transition to like Slam Nuba or something. Um, but that's performance wise. Writing wise, I really want to publish a collection by the end of this year, chapbook or something. Um, that's what I've been working towards.
Do you want it to be like a career?
I would love to get paid for writing. I would love that. But I think my poetry is a reflection of like the activism that I do and like movement work that I do. So I always want that to be like a part of my life. But as far as being realistic, I like I said, I would love to get paid, but I think I'm gonna keep doing what I do, like with movement work, with activism work, and let that be reflected in my writing. And then if people gravitate towards it, shit, I'll retire. Like,
Okay, that's a good transition too, because I was looking at your Instagram, and you've been doing stuff with something about books
Mhm.
and something with hungry and the homeless. So talk to me more about that.
Yeah, so I have been really struggling with like what organizations I wanted to get involved in because I think a lot of nonprofits they have like, at least a little bit of corruption. So I was like, let's just make something by ourselves and see where it goes. So this past November I've been like formulating like Siblings in the Struggle Collective where we take on different initiatives that tackle black and brown communities. Um, and one of them was Books Behind Bars, which we're doing a book drive to just give people that are victims of the prison system like appropriate mental stimulus and like um, just show them that they're loved. Like we're writing little messages with inside the book, and then just giving them to either prisons or halfway houses, just so that transition is easier. And that was kind of informed by my own personal like relationship to prisons. I've seen a lot of my family members, my brother, go in and out of prisons, halfway houses, and I've just seen what it does and how it breaks an individual. So I just decided to put boots on the ground and see what I could do. And then with the sandwich making, that also ties into my family. There's quite a bit of people that have experienced homelessness and just poverty, people experiencing poverty. And it just breaks my heart. Like, people walk by people and they don't want to look at them or even acknowledge them. And I don't know, it's just like really shitty and it struck me. And I was like, I gotta do something about it. And I think where I'm at right now with my activism is just like, I think most of us know what the problem is. It's just what are we gonna do about it? Um, and theory is fucking great. Like I love theorizing, conceptualizing different big topics, but if you can't make that a practice and implement things that you actually want to see, like you're doing a real disservice to your community. So
Would you say, would you want a career in that direction?
I would love to be. I don't do it for like money. That's like I think where it's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
Like people will have me come talk and they'll want to pay me and I'll just be like, no. And then my friends always yell at me. They're like, no, you gotta like make a living and I'm like, yeah, but no. um so I think it's just like a matter of like staying humble and like staying rooted in what I actually want to do and I think like the monetary aspect of that kind of like skews people's visions and they kind of let, money dictate like the projection of where they're going to go with their activism or just really being involved and connected to the work that you do. So yeah, I would love it, but I think I would really like to just stay rooted and use my other degrees and just be involved in movements. Yeah,
It's a lot of stuff.
yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff.
Is it ever? What would be? Because I was, for me, writing has always kind of been like cathartic, kind of, and like since writing seems like it's not necessarily a career for you, but like it's a big part of your life. Like, how would you like? what's your like de-stress or your like whatever like re-energizes you, refuels you?
I think being in community really refuels me. I write in community. I do all of my work through community. You'll very rarely see me like by myself. I always keep people that are about what they talk about around me, and I think that that is what really grounds me. And I feel like when I'm by myself and I'm isolating myself is when I like go to a different space that I don't really like, um, and I get really disconnected from all of the stuff that I'm doing. Like I will not touch my activism stuff. Like I won't touch writing. So I decided to join like that Black Femme writing group in Denver, and those are the most amazing Black femmes that I have ever met in my entire life. So shout out to Aseitu and Talea, and then all of the people that are just a part of that group because they've really helped me like be more articulate about like what I want to accomplish and like not even just in my writing but in my life. Um, and something that I've just been really thinking about lately is like how powerful community is, and I think just America like conditions you to be an individual and like everything is so individualistic. So I think one of the most radical things that we can do is be in community with each other and just show up and like love people. So
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking of something. I was kind of telling uh, Charlie, shout outs to Charlie on the way up here. Um, he hadn't heard of this. I don't know if you've heard of this. Have you heard of? Do you ever listen to Shade in the Morning?
no.
Oh, so you had also not heard of it.
Oh.
The lights went out. I did not do that, by the way. But for some reason, the lights went out. That's okay, though. Everything's fine. Everybody's fine. What was it? Oh, okay. I remember what I was going to say. So Shade has something called the Five Fingers of Death. It's usually for rappers. Not asking you to rap, but do you have anything that you would want to like perform right now off the top of your head?
So that's another thing about me as like a performer and a writer. I don't have any of my pieces memorized.
Okay.
I always perform it like in front of my phone because I'm like scared that I'm gonna forget something.
Right.
But I could read something off my phone.
Sure, that works too. That works too.
Okay. Let's see what I want to read.
Editor's note for everyone. I meant Sway in the Morning on Shade 45, not Shade in the Morning. I also don't know what Shade in the Morning is. So again, it's Sway in the Morning on Shade 45.
Put me on the spot. Oh my god.
Yeah, I felt like with MCs, poets, people who perform, I kind of want to do that too a little bit just to see how they react. Because I'm kind of the same. I'll usually be like, what? But depending on the mood, sometimes I'm like, okay, let's go. But not everybody. Everybody has their own thing with it. So.
I think I'll just perform the one that I have up on my Instagram, the last one that I posted. It's a blues poem.
Okay.
I know like nothing about blues, but I'm in this poetry battle, and they were like, "Yo, write us a fucking blues poem." So I don't even know if this is the correct structure, but I kind of just did it. But it's like about white feminism and how we like marginalize Black women's voices and Black femmes' voices. Yeah, so a lot of it is just like reminiscent of Sojourner Truth and Bell Hooks, like Ain't I a Woman? So woke up this morning whispering, Ain't I a woman to the wind? Sun billowing in, and still I'm whispering, Ain't I a woman to the wind? And I got the whole world answering no in a toothy, troubling grin. My baby's crown is in my gums and jewels in the teeth. I'm about to christen a king. Bleeding mouth, fetching limbs and tongue to treat me right first, or you can't be no king. A rougher reflection of me, but I still got the question, ain't I a woman churning? Mirrors, no reflections, fractured and birthing new shards, a new woman waking. She birthed me fragmented but still capable of holding an image, the past and present waking. And so ain't I a woman forms a red Nile and this question keeps on quaking. And she lives in a different house but still shares my same skin and story with saddened eyes. I tell you we were in the same school so we mislearned our own her story. Can't even come to the table 'cause she's taught to hate me and it's keeping us from all the glory. And I'm pregnant with eggshells who muddy and murder my womb, always spitting who, steal all my glistening words, dress it up in blonde, and then asking who. I'm whispering, ain't I a woman to the wind? And I can't lie, my sisters, the answer is kin to blue. These men that I lay with know smashing cocoa butter into honey sweet walls turn into different nectar when the sweet turns to cavity and teeth become crumbling wall, who come slithering back to the sweet sap and all the hands tear at him. I know who he calls, and so I'm waving this flag because no one seems to hold the black girl. Just burn her for light and eat her ashes in the dust, for she is only a black girl. But if you know, like I know, the fire will consume all those that have fed it and will birth out a pearl. And I woke up this morning whispering, ain't I a woman to the wind? Blinds cracked, sun billowing in, and still I'm whispering, ain't I a woman to the wind? And I got the whole world answering no in a toothy, troubling grin.
Nice. I haven't heard the performance for a minute, so it's dope. Though. What? So there, I know there's the bell hooks influence, but what else kind of influenced that piece for you?
I've been thinking a lot about white feminism and how it's just not inclusive at all. And I think that one was actually, yeah, I was on a deadline, but I went on Twitter, um, and there was just like, I see the word intersectionality thrown around a lot, and I see the word inclusivity thrown around a lot. And those are like like those are rooted in black feminist theory, and a lot of people don't even know or can't articulate what intersectionality is anymore. Um, and I don't know, I just kind of got mad and wrote something just about how black women and black femmes are expected to be so much, but like we don't reserve the same femininity for black women as we do for white women. Um, and just like how it pisses me off. And then I have like the black sons and black men and just like how they treat black women in there. But yeah.
Yes, there's definitely. I feel like it's been getting like worse, where like we want to take like hip hop culture, black culture into popular culture, but then we don't want those individuals who create such.
Mm-hmm.
It's so strange to me that we continue to. And it seems like it's just one direction.
Right.
That we're just gonna keep taking, and there's no one's held accountable really.
Yeah.
So,
I also think like it's really, really important to note within like because spoken word is like a branch of hip hop, right? So like hip hop as like most people are very rap centric when they talk about like hip hop, but there's also like all of these other elements of hip hop that make it up. So like hip hop is not just rap, um, but I do think a lot of what hip hop is mirrored from American culture. So if you have like American culture that props up, dominant heterosexuality, patriarchy, heteronormativity, sexism, racism, all of these things, of course you're going to see that mirrored in like the branches that come off. So I'm less mad at hip hop. Like I think like a lot of black feminists write like letters to hip hop, and I've like written my own letter to hip hop, and I have like this very conflicting relationship with it. But I do have to take a step back sometimes and like realize that it's only a product of something that it's rooted in.
Is there any other like topics that you want to bring up, or anything that you want to promote, or?
Yeah. So Shades of Honey is like it's an open mic that my best friend Donovan and I started, and now I kind of like took it over. But it was for Black and Brown people to come just share their art, and that looks like film, spoken word, just visual arts, dance, singing, all of the ways that we show up. Because I think a lot of our times our art just becomes political because that's just what it is for Black and brown people, even if we're just like writing a fucking love poem, right? But that's what we decided to do because there's no creative spaces for Black and brown people in Boulder that don't get monopolized in Columbus. So yeah, Shades of Honey is up, every month. I'm trying to figure out when the next one for March is going to be. Gotta coordinate with Sacred Voices and Slam Nuba. But yeah, keep an eye out for it. Follow me on Instagram of Karia, OFKARIA. Yeah, that's me.
Cool. And then I'll probably edit out this pause. I don't know if you and Charlie both wanna hop over here and y'all can talk about poetry stuff.
Sure.
So this, you can intro. What's your name?
My name's Charlie. My name's Charlie. There we go. I don't know what else. What else do you want me to introduce myself with? I might have zoned out while y'all were talking.
What do you do, man?
What do I do? Besides trying to squeeze in my 19-hour nap sessions. Right now, I'm trying to finish this damn bachelor's degree. And hopefully just have that as a flex when I go for job interviews. I'm trying to get a job too. And then start investing in like the housing market, this, that, the fourth. But yeah, that's about the gist of what I'm currently doing outside of poetry.
A little TMI. So I did ask. That's my fault. That's my fault. So how did y'all meet? How do y'all know each other?
How do we know each other?
Brief.
Yeah, we know. They're the greatest. Love them. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
Yeah, we just started hanging out. Follow each other on Instagram. Been homies ever since. It's been dope.
Y'all ever write together, perform together, critique each other's stuff?
We have done some critiques.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, we're supposed to write together. We're supposed to do a collab pretty soon. Yeah, that's on me.
One more time for the team.
That's on me. Yeah. So we're supposed to write something together, which I'm really, really excited about. Bridging the Black and brown communities. It's always dope.
Yep.
So have you performed at Sacred Voices yet?
Yes, I performed once. That was actually my first performance. Was at Sacred Voices.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I performed at the diversity summit up here, but I didn't count it because it was a bunch of white people. I was like, it doesn't really count.
Just stand up and they'll applaud you.
Right, exactly. So going in front of Black and brown people is it was a huge deal for me because I feel like Black and brown people just don't fuck with it if it's not good. I don't which is something I really appreciate. But I was terrified to go perform anywhere outside of CU. But now we got a whole space that's just Black and brown voices, and I think that's dope as hell. But Sacred Voices definitely gave me the confidence to go out and do more stuff.
How did this new poet do, Charlie?
Oh, they did great. For a first time performance, no lie, that was pretty cool.
I was really hoping you'd say more. Okay. This was good, that was that, you could have done
I don't
so.
memorize every performance that goes through Sacred Voices. Sometimes I gotta juggle being the MC, sometimes I gotta juggle doing workshops, sometimes I gotta juggle getting features through. It's rough with Sacred Voices. It's fucking rough.
Tell us how you really
Right. Shit.
And that's going to do it for episode 3. I want to thank Karia White. Also want to thank a special appearance by Charlie. Dope talking to poets, learning about their process, learning about what else they do outside of the written word. And yeah, Karia's definitely on the come up. If you haven't heard their stuff yet, I think you should probably try and do so. Because honestly, Karia's probably going to go some places. You heard her here first. So remember that. Next week, episode 4, the end of our 4 weeks, you might be hearing a familiar voice, and it might be in a very similar topic. Thanks for listening, everyone.
I am Karia White, and you're listening to Denver Cyphers.